Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So the biggest question I always get is the cost of living in Vietnam. And there's two parts to this. I'm a tourist now because I'm really just bouncing around.
Sure.
And you live here now. So our numbers are a little different. So I will say as a tourist living in Vietnam, it is fairly cheap. I think ideally, if you're living on hotels and stuff like that, you'd be looking like maybe $800 a month because you're going to be eating out a little more. You're going to be kind of going through like hotels or hostels a lot more.
Generally speaking, Vietnam's cost of living is low, but it also depends on where you're living. Like in the central, houses are cheap, transport is cheap, but food is more expensive than in Hanoi and Saigon. When you're in Hanoi, food is cheap, but housing is accommodation is more expensive.
Yes, very.
Like in Saigon, accommodation is more expensive.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you're living, and also it depends if you want to live in a suburb or you want to live in a very good apartment. But generally speaking, Vietnam's cost of living is low. I've seen people that have survived on $150 or $200 a month and they've lived. And accommodation is not expensive, transportation is not expensive, so everything is really cool here.
Nice. So a couple $100 if you live here, about $700. That is a big gap, but again, it's the hotels. Like, what do you pay for rent per month?
I pay $150.
So my hotel right now is $8 a night. So you can see kind of where the difference really comes in. 700 to 800 if you're visiting is a good number, and probably like 500, 400 if you're gonna live here. Where's the best spot to live?
It depends on what you prefer. Are you a party guy, or are you a calm guy that wants to live in a cool environment? Like here, we're at the park and it's cool and everything is fine, besides the river and everything. Me personally, I would prefer a place like this one. So I always want to go out, read some books and do my YouTube videos, edit around and in a cool environment. But there are people that want to party, they want to go to bars every day. I wouldn't tell you to come here because there are no foreign bars here. You just find karaoke's and they are on Vietnamese bars. If you really want to party, you want to live in a place where you go out every day, I would recommend you to live in the north or in the south. But if you're a person that really wants a cool place, I think Da Nang, Hue, The Lat, Quang Binh here in Dong Hoi City, are the places that you can live in. What do you think?
The north, it has seasons. Like it's actually cold. And right now in Saigon, it's like 30 degrees. So the north is really good for, like you're saying, it's real calm, it's real chill. Hanoi does have the parties, but it's very calm compared to the south. So I think the north is a good spot for like long-term living. The pay is actually a little better for being a teacher. You have more opportunity. The center, I think, is a good spot to visit. I would never recommend living there. It's a good spot to visit, but it's like a tourist spot.
Yeah.
And then if you love to get down, and I really think Vietnam has the best party scene in all of Asia. Like they do not care. The South. Definitely. You have the beaches, you have the hot weather. So it depends what you're looking for. Again, me being someone from Hawaii, I like hot weather. I'm always gonna pick the South. But I love the North food. I hate sweet food. I love spicy food.
And also, if you want to live long here and you want to go deep into the Vietnamese culture, the north is better, far better. Like when you're in the south, you won't get that vibe. You will learn a lot of things about Vietnam if you really live in Hanoi more than in the south.
The language is a big one. I speak Southern Vietnamese, and I've been talking. We were at a restaurant last night. I'm talking to Vietnamese, and they just look at me like,
they won't understand.
Like, what the hell is this guy talking about? It's like I'm speaking
But
Chinese
if you
still.
speak Northern Vietnamese, everyone will understand, even if you go to the south.
What is a salary like in Vietnam as a teacher?
Didn't we do a video about that last week?
Oh shoot, I forgot. We actually did a full video on that. Check the link below. We talked about salary, visa processing,
requirement, everything about working in Vietnam.
From a Western native person and a non-native person. So check that video below. How is the English with the locals? Can you manage not speaking Vietnamese with them, or do you need to actually learn the language?
If you're going to live long here, you'll need to learn the language, because even in a professional environment like English centers or even public schools, sometimes you have to know some Vietnamese. Translating some words to my students in class, because my TA doesn't understand some English words, so I have to do it myself. You should learn some basic Vietnamese. When it comes to getting food and everything, it's really kind of difficult. These people, when they see a foreigner, they always try to serve you. They always try to understand what you're talking about. They always try to do it. And most of them have Google Translate on their phone. When you go to them, they'll speak and they'll translate and they'll show you, they'll ask you what you want. When you come to Vietnam, like for tourists or if it's your first time here, you should come with a Google Translator, of course. Translate, they can read Vietnamese, or they will listen to the Google Translator and they will know what you're talking about. But like for a person like me that has lived here long, at least I can speak best Vietnamese, maybe 10% of it, and that's enough for me to order something or even count money or talk about anything like in the restaurant.
I would always say, learn what you need to go to a restaurant, and that will get you through almost most of Vietnam.
Money and numbers in Vietnam is so important. The rest will be okay.
My experience, I feel, as long as you have one of these, just point at some stuff and they'll figure it out. But in the big cities like Saigon and Hanoi and Da Nang, it's actually not too bad. A lot of people understand the basics of English, but when you start getting into like towns like this where it's more, not so many Western people, you get to small villages, get that figure ready. I think overall, if you don't speak English, you're coming out here as a tourist, I think you'd be okay.
And also, if like it's your first time here, you don't need to go to small, very, very small restaurants where you're going to find it hard. Here there's Vincom Plaza. You can go there, you find a restaurant, you find almost everything that you want to eat in the supermarkets there, and the clothes stores, shoe stores, and everything there. Mostly sellers in the malls can speak English.